you said that it's been a while since you actually went to a convention. Like, well, do you remember what the last one was that you actually went to?
I want to say it was 2019's New York Comic Con.
Wow, yo, I've never been to any Comic Con actually.
That's the only. I've never been to like the San Diego one. That's the only. I think that's the only time I've ever been to a Comic Con. It was that one, and it wasn't. It was just I guess I don't know. Lucky you could say of company reached out. They wanted me to promote some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. They said, "Yo, we fly you out. We pay for the hotel." I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna do it for basically free vacation. All I gotta do is talk some Yu-Gi-Oh and be in a commercial. Why not?"
Did it feel any different going to like an actual anime convention versus a comic convention?
Well, I've never been to like a regular comic convention. I've only been to like either small time anime conventions or like Anime Expo. Like I've never been to like a regular like cuz New York Comic Con like and maybe that is a testament to even what you're asking me is that it didn't feel any different from an anime con because anime has even at that point in 2019 become such a staple that it's just anime everywhere. It didn't feel like just Batman, Superman shit. It was anime all over the place.
Mm, that's interesting. I've never, well, first off, I've never even gone to Anime Expo, which is one of the ones that I've always like really wanted to go to.
You got to do that at least once, and then after that, depending on the type of person you are, you'll either never give a fuck again, or slowly not give a fuck again, or love it all. Who the fuck knows?
Well, I got to get to Cali first. I do have to get to Cali first. And I guess Crunchyroll, they have their own convention now, right? So there's the Crunchy, is it Crunchy
Crunchy
Expo?
Expo. Yeah, yep, yep.
I would love to go to that, but that's San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That I'm not sure, but yeah, I know it's somewhere in Cali, and I think it's like in August or something like that. The main reason I would love to go is just to be one of the first to see that new Chainsaw Man trailer because I love me some motherfucking Chainsaw Man.
I saw you tweeting about Chainsaw Man too.
God, Chainsaw Man is gonna be so freaking huge. I mean, freaking doesn't have an anime, and it's trending all over the place when the fucking return of Chainsaw Man 2 pops in. It's otherworldly.
I need to pick it up. The fact that it like has a two already, is that like an actual proper sequel, or is it just signifying like the next phase in the story?
Mm, well, it's kind of unclear right now because with the first chapter of 2, on the Jump app, they're calling it Chapter 98. So they're not even differentiating on the official app. And also, we didn't see any of the previous cast in the first chapter aside from a mention of one character. So
Mm.
I don't know exactly what direction they're going in, but I sum it all up as this is a part of Jump's new strategy, just like how they ended Demon Slayer's anime or manga super fucking early and the anime is still going. They're just trying new shit, and I think this
Mm.
is one of those, hey, it's smoking hot. What if we put it on pause for a minute while we work on the anime and then come back and boom, be on their head top with like, playing with the algorithm, so to speak. I've just seen Shonen Jump in the last couple years, honestly, since the pandemic hit, they've just changed everything about how they move, when they
Mm.
end stuff. What everything has just changed. The pandemic, it changed the world, and I've noticed it through
Yeah,
anime.
dude, the fact that we were supposed to get the new Haikyuu season in 2020, and that it's now 2022, and then we still don't have an update on the new season is just
What?
insane.
I
It's
haven't been
insane.
keeping up with that one. Oh man, and I love.
Oh man.
Well, I'm not caught up on Haikyuu by any means, but I think I've seen like season one, and I really
Mm.
loved Haikyuu. So
Dude, you have to finish it. They're up to like four seasons and like three movies or some shit. Um, we're recording, right?
yep, yep. With four,
Well then,
four, four, and
four for four. So, well, everybody, welcome to the podcast. We created a podcast and couldn't come up with a name, so we settled on this sentence right here being the title. I'm your host, Rob D. Lucci, And it seems today we've only got one of the Fantastic Four for
Yo.
Neverworld. How are you feeling today, brother?
Exhausted, but I'm here.
Exhausted but here.
Yeah. Our other co-hosts are trapped in the vortex, and
They didn't
one of
finish
them
getting
might
isekai over.
one of them might show up. I don't know. I'm. You never know, but one of them might show up. We were supposed to have bombshell surprise everything, and it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, it's been a crazy time, man. Everybody's been a little busy with personal lives, I guess. Shintai is kind of still transitioning with the move. I believe he's almost to the light at the end of the tunnel tonight. He may or may not pop up, guys. Um, he let us know that he was out eating with family, and Chris just might not make it. But it's
Yeah,
fine.
he's
We're
got
here to
some
hold our
shit.
brothers down.
Yeah, and we were supposed to have two awesome guests as well, and I'll keep that a little under wraps. But they also had a big travel because DreamCon recently went down. So
Yep.
yeah,
Well, well, it has been a minute since any of us got together to record. I know we had a decent amount of backlog episodes to get out. So, like, what have you been doing since then? Like, how's everything going?
honestly, if it was a narrative, boy, I've had some arcs in between the last recording and now. To be honest with you, yeah, I was all over the place here and there. Um, lot of this and that. Sounds
Oh,
so
this and
vague.
that. It's fine. I mean, if anybody's like a little interested in that and probably wants them to go a little bit more, I believe you probably talked about it on your channel, right?
Yeah, it's between like, cause okay, I feel like too with life right now, it brought me to a point where I'm at a crossroads, and not only, and I think because of YouTube and its fuckery, it kind of allows me to get to places that, because when you're comfortable, you're not gonna fuck, or me, shall I say, when I'm comfortable, it's hard for me to move. Like when I'm sitting and everything is just, it's just a slam dunk. Everything I do, I could piss on the moon right now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna move. So when things get a little bit uncomfortable, that's where, and especially at the point I am right now,
Mm,
it's like, okay, am I gonna just sit here and live the rest of my life in a certain fashion that I'm not particularly fond of? Or am I gonna start making moves so that when the time comes, I can
mm,
soar the skies, so to speak? And that's what I've been, I guess, in a lot of different facets trying to manifest, so to speak, of trying to move myself into the position that I want to be because it's sink or swim, flight or die, and again, it just sounds so fucking vague. And yeah,
interesting, interesting, interesting. That actually might be a little interesting topic that we may have stumbled over. So like, how do you feel about uh being a creator and when shit's good and like the gravy train is rolling and it feels so easy to create, right? You don't have to worry about a safety net. But when it's time to get uncomfortable is when it's time to shift gears and adapt. Like, how do you normally handle those types of situations?
well, there's been 3 times now that I've pretty much had to do this. First time was when the Naruto manga ended.
Mm,
And most people think it's funny or some shit, but like I went totally out of control. Like, cause Naruto had me kind of encaged, and I have to, I gotta read the Naruto chapter. I gotta do 3 Naruto discussions throughout the week. I gotta
mm,
watch Naruto Shippuden anime. So being broken free from that,
mm.
it kind of had me at a very low. I was a super lost motherfucker at that time, like 2015.
Right.
Making terrible decisions. Again, I guess it's a growth and maturity thing, and hopefully, even if it's one person watching, they could take from this of don't fucking go bonkers crazy when shit gets real. So
Right.
that was the how I approached it the first time. The second time was when Dragon Ball Super's anime ended, because again, that was another height of everything with YouTube. It was like, yo, I could talk about Goku's elbow and get six-figure in views. You know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
fucking madness, and I was loving it too because it's like, yo, Dragon Ball is a big part of my childhood, and I'm living out my dreams, talking about it, making money about it. This is fucking crazy.
Mm.
And then when that came to a close, again, life was like, wow.
Mm.
And I was starting to understand and get to grasp a little bit of life more, but I was
Mm.
still so in the sunken place, 1000% in the sunken place, that I couldn't even still fathom of what life really is and all that stuff. So again, lesson two of you may have the inklings of it. You may start to get the embers of what is this weirdness of that I understand something is not right.
Right.
But you still, you look at it and you're like, man, if I just, keep my head down and keep working, everything will be good. Now we're on number 3, where all the transitionings of Forever News because of X, Y, and Z, some of my own faults, some of just, this landscape and shit like that. Um, having to transition things around, move forward is not like, hey, Forever News is going to do 150,000 views week 1, blah, 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 blah. So we
Mm.
kind of at this one. But now this is right here. This is where the Golden Saint armor comes on, and I feel
Right.
like, okay, boom. Now is the time where I can still restructure, still keep going. Yeah, things are gonna be, there's a rainy day for everything. That's literally the laws of how this world works. Of it's going to get bad at some point because you need that in order to understand what's even good.
Right.
It's going to the equation of life will always balance itself out no matter
Mm.
what. So, and that's one of the positive things you could look at when you're in the deepest and darkest points of your life,
Absolutely.
is you have to remember that, oh shit, this is great. Everything is so fucking bad right now. This is amazing, because that
Mm.
means that it's going to be really great at some given point. So anybody watching this, again, look at life like that. Like if you're at that point of, you feel like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about life no more, yada yada. Know that as long as you could get through that hump and understand that there's something great at the end of the thing, you're gonna be fine. And while I'm not at this point, I'm already, climbing out the abyss, so to speak. I'm just very hopeful, and it is stressful and shit like that. I wear a lot of hats, but
For you, does it seem like because like every artist has like this moment where they have this project that they're working on, right? And then by the time they're ready to release it for their platform to receive it or whatever, and it comes out and it does what it does, and then it's time for the pivot with the next project, right? And you have to kind of decide if you want to stay within the pocket that you're already in, or if it's time to start carving out a new sound, right? So do you feel like you're in a position where it's time for you to start carving out a new sound, or in
uh,
your case, new what new
new path,
storytelling, right?
new path. That's where, like for example, I'm crafting the Foreververse, right?
Mm.
Because one of the things about me is that I get bored with shit, and when I get bored with shit, I don't give a fuck. But if I have other shit to occupy me when I'm bored, then I won't get bored of the other shit, and I
Mm.
won't drop it and shit like that. So that's one of the reasons why I've been crafting the Foreververse piece by piece, where I got my main channel that is, at the end of the day, you got to put food on the table, and also I get to talk about anime in a different fashion. Then I got my Forever the Fuck I Want, where I talk about movies,
Mm.
spend time with my family, all of that good stuff. Then I got Forever News, explanatory news of the anime and manga world, and I love doing that too because it keeps me up to date, and it gives the casual person that maybe they don't even watch anime anymore, but they still want to fucking know because they love that shit. They just don't got the time. There
Mm.
you go. And then the project that, above everything, my first love, my You know, when they say first loves, I really mean this with every ounce of my heart. Of
Well, well.
like Nimrod Media, which is really right now is mainly going to encompass music. Over time, I have a lot of other things that I'm going to bring to it, but just wanting to create music and create art in different facets. My first love will always be art. And, you know, I went a few years of saying I'm never going to do music again. In fact, the last project I released was called For Never Again, Never
Mm.
Again, because I wasn't ever planning on doing music again. It was even just like a prequel album, so to speak, of records when I was 16 and shit like that. I wasn't planning on doing it again. But
Right.
realistically, it's simply because I was heartbroken on how my life was and how my life was imitating art. And I created an album called My Beautiful Hell. And I literally was in the worst state of my life, destroyed everything around me.
Which is normally when artists make their best work, is when they're when their lives are in shambles, because you create beauty out of pain, right? You create the best version of your hurt for others to also relate to, and maybe want to share with other people that they think could potentially relate to it, or somebody that they think it may help, right? Especially like, when everybody has like goes through bad shit, but it's always like the dark music that stands the test of time, not the fluff bubblegum foo foo whatever that they try to shove down our throats on the radio and on TV and all this stuff. Like, yeah, the hit records are cool, but it's always like the deep cut B sides you go to. It's always like the you flip through old painters like Picasso and Michelangelo and stuff, for people that are into that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's like their biggest pieces, but then there are the people that truly enjoy the lesser known pieces. You know what I mean?
Of course, of course.
And I think for you, you're in a point where maybe you're enjoying doing the projects that aren't performing as well, but you also have to do the stuff that's keeping the lights on, right? and
Yeah,
and
pretty
and
much.
that's probably what's got you feeling a little overwhelmed and a little worn down, because you, like you say, you're putting on a lot of different hats all at the same time. Does it do you ever think about these sort of things like on a larger scale, like when you look at people like Diddy, and Nick Cannon, and Jay-Z, where like these guys are like running these multi-billion dollar, well, not even multi-billion dollar, but I mean, Jay-Z is already a billionaire, right? Nick Cannon might be close, maybe, we don't know. But for these people that are like running all these different avenues of media, and they're barely sleeping, like, do you feel like you would ever like want to be at that level trying to run the show, or do you think like even this is like, man, I don't know how these guys do it?
Oh, I'll definitely be at that level. And see, it's just a matter of perspective, right? Because you got to look that they're doing it on this crazy scale, but they also have the pockets to pay to keep this going at that scale. So
Mm,
realistically, sure they might do a little more back and forth because they got to hop on that jet and they got to probably
mm,
talk to a few more people and stuff like that. But in terms of the hours that I'm putting in and the amount of work and details and the right work, like I'm not
mm,
just, I'm doing something, guys. Like it's carefully crafted. Okay, this has to happen so that this could move here and this could
mm.
move here. So realistically, it wouldn't be pretty much any different. Because on top of all of that, I'm a father, a single father, and that right there is a full-on job in it of itself. So I don't see it any like of course I understand completely two different, they're on billionaire thing, I'm here. But in terms of the manpower and hours that I put in, I wouldn't see it as much different other than flights and jet lag.
When do you typically feel like whatever you're doing is ready for the next phase?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I guess it's all a not necessarily a feeling, but maybe probably it would all just be a feeling and just seeing where okay the dots connected, the signs is all there so to speak,
Hmm.
and okay this is time to move.
I know a lot of creatives, especially when they're starting out, kind of struggle to feel like, well, how long do I have to keep doing this before like I start to gain any traction, or how long do I need to keep doing this to decide whether it's even worth doing? Um, well, look who decided to join us.
I'm so fucking sorry.
It's okay, brother. Everybody, Shintai just popped in. What's up, Daniel? How's it going?
A lot. I will say this though. Um, One motherfucker in the comments kept going like, "Yo, Shintai, yo, when you moving, man?" I moved. It's totally different location. So get off my fucking dick.
Fresh coat of paint.
Well, it's good to have you, Daniel. Fernev and I were actually just talking about being a creator and knowing when it's time to move on to the next phase, or when it's time to pull the plug, even. Or, we all think that when we're starting out, we have like these dreams of like, how it's gonna go. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get my first upload. It's gonna go viral. I've already seen like how all the viral formula looks, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and then you hit upload, and 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and video is still sitting at 1 view, 5 views, and as a creator, like it kind of hurts a little bit when you're like, man, why doesn't anybody like my content? And then you have to think about how many other creatives are out there in the world, and how many other people are trying to do the same thing you're doing. How do you cut through the noise, right? How do you get people to come to your stuff and feel like, oh, this is special right here. This is somebody that I want to invest in. And then you go through the steps of, well, I got to keep being consistent. Okay, well, you're consistent. What does the presentation look like? Is the presentation where it needs to be? Okay, the presentation is there. How about the promotion? How are you promoting your stuff? How are you like, what are you doing to get people to be driven to your stuff? When do you feel like, okay, I need to change the way I'm shooting the ball a little bit now to get the shot to like really go in consistently the way you want it to get people to consistently come. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I'll definitely say this, right? Perspective is a motherfucker
Hmm.
because, and I think this should also, anybody watching this, really take this one in, right? Because I've had videos perform millions of views, all that stuff, right? Hundreds of thousands, millions, and all that stuff. I got a little small project, and I'm not trying to promote anything, but I just released a small little project on a small little channel that I have, 100 subscribers on there. It's currently sitting at, hold on, so I could tell you guys exactly where we're at with it, because this is a project of passion that I know is going to be at some given point, a rave or whatever. It's currently sitting at 68 views, and I am so excited. It got 68 views. Bro, I really love this little project I put together. And
Hmm.
it got 68 views. That's so fucking awesome. And if I can feel that, considering I've had videos hit millions and millions, but what did those videos mean to me? Cool theories. I had a blast, talking about Naruto theories or
Hmm.
the news and stuff like that. But this 68 views on my little project of footage of my little journey and shit like that, mwah, love it.
So it's more about just creating the content and just getting it out there, and then it doesn't really
No,
matter how it
no,
performs.
everyone wants a level of success. It's just understanding that the success is going to come in different variations, and understanding, like, I think I tweeted this out, I don't know, a week ago, whatever, about the long game. I look at that 68 views, and I know someday that's going to be 680,000, 68 million, all of that stuff. and I just see that 60. I'm like, oh man. Let alone the fact that 68 motherfuckers cared and it's got a decent amount of like ratio and all that good stuff. Like, wow. So it's just understanding. Like,
Wow.
I'll give you another one from a musical side of things. Most people that don't create music don't have the ears to understand when a record is in its rawest form of I'll be jamming to a record, and it's because I already know, okay, when we do Melodyne on this point, when we stack the vocals here, this is going to be the greatest sounding record. But most people that don't create music, they just going to hear it and say, oh, that sounds fucking terrible. That song is garbage. They don't understand what you're hearing because you already can see the vision. You can hear it in your head, but they can't understand that.
And sometimes the record just sounds better unpolished than like once it goes through like mixing and mastering. Like it feels more raw and more honest.
I think that can
Especially,
translate
I love
also into-
stacking vocals.
I think that can.
Was that
translate
Daniel?
also into- sorry, I'm using a different mic, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Mhm.
But what I was saying was, I think that can also translate into video creation because sometimes you might overthink an idea. You might think that it's not developed enough, and then you have to keep putting more into it and not realize that, oh, that original core idea that you had, that was fine. You didn't need to fuck with it. And the
Right.
fact that you kept putting shit in it detracted from that core.
Do you think it's easier to get muddled by the idea that you have to keep up with those that are already established in their formula? So maybe it kind of forces people to overthink their own production when they're getting started, like before they have their connects and their video editors and all that stuff.
Comparing yourself to other creators is always a slippery slope because there's always someone that you can compare yourself to in every aspect of what you do. And if you keep doing that, and if you're always thinking, but like fucking Funalito did this, and like Pedro did that, or
Like
Maria
I said,
did that.
Funalito. Funalito. Write that one down. That's the name of this episode. Funalito did this. Oh shit, yo.
Okay. Well, not to harken too long on this particular topic, but I do think it's interesting as a budding creator, and I know for me personally, I don't regularly do like video content. I'm more on the audio side, so
Right.
even watching this podcast like organically grow on its own, we started with a dormant channel, 300 or whatever subs, like kind of already tucked in the bag, but it's been a little over a month now, and I think we've more than doubled that.
Yeah, it was
So
like 290 or 280 something. So yeah, we made some progress.
yeah, we're sitting at 640, 650 now or something like that, and I think it's really interesting, and first and foremost, like, thank you guys for following us on this journey as we like kind of stumble our way through and figure it out. Congratulations to us on that milestone. Timestamp killer dropped an applause. But I think it's cool. I'm having a good time with you guys with this project.
No,
I love when we sit down and start laughing and shit like that. Like, it genuinely is one of the things that, like, earlier I don't know what the hell I was going to get gas. So I don't know. I was driving somewhere, and I just thought to myself, oh yeah, we got to do the pod. I'm already exhausted. I've been up since 5. But then I thought to myself, and this is something I used to do with seasonal anime. I was like, but I know when I sit down with the guys, and I know when we start with the fucking around and laughing, I'm going to have a great time, and it's going to remind me of why I like doing this shit. So I'm going to just push forward. I used to do the same shit with seasonal anime. Be like, I don't really want to watch this week's episodes. And then I'll watch them and be like, oh my God, I fucking loved it. I had a great time. And that's sometimes a little extra push that you got to mentally put in there of like, well, I'm probably just feeling right now. My day's been stressful. Whatever's happened today. But I know that right there is going to be what, it's also like medicine for the soul of just a little laughter and a little enjoyment.
Mhm. This is actually what I look forward to on my Sunday nights. Um, Being that Sunday is like the one day of the week that I have off. I work 6 days a week. So when I have like my entire Sunday to myself, and I'm like, ooh, tonight I get to kick it with the guys, record for the pod, and release it to the world. And the fact that there are people that are already like regulars in the comment section is pretty fucking cool, you know?
Yeah, like that one guy who kept fucking calling me out for not moving yet. All love, dude. All love. They're like,
You might have just found your first rival in the community, Danny. I got my eye on you, Shentai.
The second he sees your background look even slightly similar to the old one, what the fuck, dude? Now you've gone too fucking far.
Did you move back?
He lied.
I recognize that shit.
That fucking shelf, dude. What the fuck?
So, let's see where
That
we're
shelf
at with
actually
it.
broke, by the way, that shelf is fucking demolished.
Yo, no way.
Dude, so during the process of moving, literally all of my furniture broke. All of it. My
Oh
fucking
my
desk,
God.
my bed, my fucking like everything. Everything fucking broke. So I had to buy all new fucking furniture. I'm still waiting for my new desk. I'm using like a temporary,
Mm.
really shitty little desk right now. This thing fucking sucks.
So was it the moving company that broke it?
We were our own moving company, basically.
Oh.
So we had to move everything in storage first.
Mm.
And the process of moving everything to storage, having it sit there for like a month, and then move it to the new place, that whole process just like a lot of shit just broke and got lost, and it's just been a thing. It's just been a whole fucking thing, let me tell you.
As
Wow,
many
so-
times I've moved, dog. Oh my god, I feel like I'm just hearing some of my stories of, oh, like you know how many of these black shelves? I got a black shelf right here. You can't see. It's like a little bookshelf, whatever. You know
Oh,
how
the little
many of
cheapo
those
Walmart shits.
You know how many I've been through because of that, of moving, and when I'm moving, it just shatters into fucking pieces, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, or like the little cheaply made screw holes, like
Oh,
kind
God.
of strip when you put them together. So,
Heather is like, you motherfucking piece of shit.
I hate moving. Like, I honestly, I moved so much growing up, and it doesn't get easier. It really doesn't. And even if like you move into a new place with next to nothing, by the time it's time to leave, you accumulate so much shit that like the miscellaneous stuff is the worst part about packing. It's the absolute worst part about packing.
Yo, do y'all feel this? This is something that I've noticed for me is that I feel this sense of excitement and enjoyment, and I almost like it or prefer it this way of when I first move into a place and all I have is, let's just say, like a mattress or even a blow up mattress and like a TV or some shit. I feel on top of the fucking world for some reason, and I really love it. I'm like, I know eventually I'm going to bring my shit in here, all of that good stuff, but maybe it's just because I'm a big fan of fresh starts and new beginnings and shit like that. But I get so excited, and I just feel like, man, can we just leave it like this? Just the fucking mattress and the TV? Because I just find that to be like, I don't know, perfect.
Well, I think for you it represents like endless possibilities, you know?
Hey, I like that. I like that. It might be, yeah.
There's something humbling about moving into a place and all you got is the mattress on the floor, no furniture, or like not even a
That's how it was
mattress.
That's how it was for a hot minute.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember when I moved into my first place and it was just, you know, no mattress, no nothing. We just like made like little blanket pallets on the floor, and then you had like the couch in the living room with like the sole TV, and you know, within like a year, had more and more furniture, more and more stuff accumulating, and it's nice being able to like watch your progress as you go through adulting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the whole moving thing. Like, just recently, in between all of this, I've kind of had some situations where I literally had to move a shit. Like, taking this mic stand down and then bringing it somewhere else and then setting it up and then undoing it and then packing bags and oh my god, I fucking hate it so much. Holy shit.
I actually do have to take this down every time I'm done recording, and then put it back up when it's time to get back to business.
I hate it.
So a lot's happened since we last got together. Recently, the former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated, and
Yeah.
that was absolutely insane considering the gun violence difference in Japan versus over here in the States. What did you guys think about that when that news broke?
Whoever wanted to kill him really wanted to make it happen because the gun laws in Japan are so fucking strict. So that was premeditated to the umpteenth degree.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly there's video of the whole shooting or some shit like that. It sounds mighty, mighty convenient for people that want to restore faith in the system set in Japan that this guy that he wanted to kill him, he made a homemade gun and he accidentally let it off and do I have dickhead written on my forehead? And then and I'm not saying nothing because I know people are going to say conspiracy theorists, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, bro, kind of blows my mind. Kazuki Takahashi found with snorkeling gear, a fucking probably multi-millionaire. God knows how much money that man's made from Konami and shit like that. Found in snorkeling gear. And then shortly after, Shinzo Abe, another very fucking prestigious and prominent figure in Japan, shot dead. I'm just saying, maybe it's absolutely nothing. Maybe it's something.
Cool. Rest in peace to Kazuki.
Big facts.
I know you were mentioning earlier how you were, offered to come to a convention to help promote Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So I know when that news broke, it kind of hit super close to home for you. And even for me, growing up playing Yu-Gi-Oh, like, what was your state of mind when that happened?
Well, admittedly, at first I was like just really taken back, like no fucking way, because like you hear that you ought to, oh, whoa, he's dead. But then on top of that, when you hear that he was found washed up on the shore, that kind of just again in Japan, like a snorkeling accident, really? So this elderly man decided to go in the middle of the night snorkeling. So I just started having a million questions in my mind, just keeping it real. I was shocked and questioning, like, hey, I guess, sure, why not? But then I just started reminiscing so goddamn much of, there was times when I was a kid and I'm homeless and the only thing I'm making sure everywhere I go is I gotta grab my Yu-Gi starter deck. And, I'm in an abandoned building playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my sister. And then I'm, in some stranger's house with fucking taking a shower, bringing my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the bathroom. And
An abandoned building. Like, so you thought you were actually in the Yu-Gi-Oh series. You were doing some shadow duels.
Yeah, my life was one hell of a shadow duel. But yeah, I don't know, it just kind of had, like, when they say when you die you have like all your fucking your life flashes before your eyes. My whole Yu-Gi-Oh journey just kind of flashed before my eyes, going with my cousin all over New York, going with friends, going to Flatbush. Like, I don't even know. I was bugging out. I look back and, like, I'm 11 years old going to some of the roughest neighborhoods to fucking duel in Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm bugging out. But it was big part of my childhood. A lot of friends, a lot of stories I could tell you for days on end. Me slapping somebody over ice cream and a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Like, a lot of fucking memories with Yu-Gi-Oh, bro.
We used to spend hours playing Yu-Gi-Oh when we would have sleepovers back in like 2002, 2003. And I know, like, waking up on Saturday mornings for Kids WB to watch like Yu-Gi-Oh like come on, and I think was there a brief moment when it was on Toonami?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Toonami, Adult Swim.
Was it Adult Swim?
I didn't know about Adult Swim, but yeah, I feel like it was at least on one of the two.
I feel like it
or,
used
or
to come
maybe
on like
Cartoon
after.
Network.
It was definitely on Cartoon Network and would come on around the after school hours.
Yeah, I thought it was Toonami. I
It
thought
might
for
have been
sure
tonight.
Toonami.
Mm. But I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh, and we would. Yu-Gi-Oh was like the first and only reason I would go to card shops back then when they would run like the. Well, no, I'm blind because the card shop we used to go to was for Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but they would also hold Halo LAN parties. If you guys remember LAN parties back in the day, and I remember like back when you still had to like you could only tribute like one monster or whatever and set one card and then you'd pass your turn. And now you go through like 15 cards in
I
your
remember when
opening
there was
turns.
no tributing, dog. I got blue eyes
Yeah.
in my hand. I'm putting that bitch down. There's no tributes, no nothing.
Yeah, so it's amazing to see how the game has like changed and transitioned over the years and grown, and it doesn't feel stale, but it also does feel like it feels like watching a Dragon Ball Fighters combo. Like as long as you don't drop the combo, you can one hit KO somebody.
Shendizzle, any Yu-Gi-Oh memories?
Unfortunately, I never played any of the card games. Um, but and I mean no disrespect, but I really loved the Abridged series by
Hmm.
Lil Karibo.
I thought you were gonna say like I really love Dark Magician. No, not Dark Magician girl's breasts. I just really wanted to fucking stick my balls in her mouth.
Oh God. Well, at a point there, I
I wanted to use my
guess.
staff on her.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Do you
Oh yeah,
either?
what's up?
I was gonna say if either of you guys have actually tried the Master Duel app.
no, I played Duel Links for a long time, and
Mm.
then I stopped, and then I never got into the new one though.
I would say the new one is a fun time if you ever like need time to kill in between like stuff you're doing. It is multi platform and cross platform cloud saving data. So like you can play on your phone or do whatever, and then you get home if you want to play it on Switch or Steam or PlayStation, I think, and you can just log into your same account and pick up from where you left off. It's pretty insane.
Yo, nothing will ever be as fucking cool as Yugi summoning the Egyptian god cards. Oh my fucking god, I would go crazy. You don't know when I got when I got those Egyptian god cards though, every time I would do it with my cousin, I would have to do the whole thing. And now I summon the winged dragon. Like I would really in my mind be like, yo, I'm in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, dog. I am the pharaoh, bro. Fuck out of here.
The thing I hated about the first season is like how like absolutely insane Atem was at dueling, and then like the final duel was supposed to be like Atem versus Yugi, and Yugi somehow beats him with like the most bullshit put together deck ever. I'm just like,
It's supposed
no
to be
way.
the whole thing of, no longer needing the interference of like your mentor moving, being strong enough to do it on your own now, so to speak.
I get it, that's cool and all, but they could have gave my man's like a better deck to work with to actually win.
Did he
My
beat him with the Dark
grandfather's
Magician?
deck has no weak cards.
I don't
I
remember.
know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't remember, but he definitely had like some damn Karibos in there.
That shit was fire. I ain't gonna lie, we talking about Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I'm just thinking like Marek, fire, Bakura, Dark Bakura,
Dark
fire.
Lord, yeah.
Okay, who is your favorite like villain in Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's gotta be Marek. Who else is better than Marek?
Actually, like I fucked with
Kaiba
Bakura
count
more.
as a villain.
You
Kind
fuck
of.
with Bakura more.
He started as a villain and just kind of fell more into the Vegeta role of the
Oh no, no,
anti-hero.
hold on, I'm forgetting Pegasus. Y'all remember Pegasus?
Yeah,
Oh,
Pegasus was
yeah,
like
Pegasus.
he was that dude, you know.
The
Like
manga is different than the anime. The manga, I think, Dark Bakura killed Pegasus in the first arc at the end.
did he?
I think he's dead in the manga, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I do know
Remember,
there
the
are.
manga started off way darker, even before we got into Yu-Gi-Oh being a card game. Like there was an original whole Yu-Gi-Oh anime, which they really need to fucking re-release that over here or some shit. But the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime was not even about the card game. It was just like one game that, for whatever reason, it got really popular, and they decided, let's remake Yu-Gi-Oh. But it was the Pharaoh would take over and make them play some life or death games, and they would fucking die. Like they would bully Joey or bully Yugi, and the Pharaoh would take over and fuck their lives over.
Yeah, I know the concept of the Shadow Realm is like anime exclusive, where it's like, no, you actually have to die here. All right, guys, so we're back. Um, while we're on the subject of like Yu-Gi-Oh, do you guys have any other trading card games that you used to play?
Pokemon.
You actually played like the
yeah.
Pokemon trading card game?
I was never playing it correct, but I played it. That, the Yu Yu Hakusho card game, the Dragon Ball Z card game.
You played the drag. Wow. So
The
at
Dragon
best,
Ball Z one was terrible, though. You had this plastic stick that it was fucking garbage, dog.
it's at best. I used to collect Pokemon trading cards, and even that didn't really last very long. It was really just Yu-Gi-Oh for me. I never really got into Magic the Gathering.
I always wanted to. I always feel like Magic the Gathering is like that next level. Like when you're done being a kiddo and playing in the Yu-Gi-Oh realm, come over to Magic.
What about the Are you familiar with the new Digimon trading card game? I hear it's pretty good. It operates over like a point system.
I wonder
something
why I
like
never
that.
got sucked into Digimon. Like,
I don't know.
Digimon was always like the Yu Yu Hakusho to Pokemon's Dragon Ball Z, but I never got into Digimon.
Digimon
I
is
fucking
super
loved
slept on.
Digimon as a kid. Oh man, I remember I remember at some point as a kid I was more into Digimon than Pokemon. Like I remember I liked the Pokemon game, but I remember I fell off the show. But but Digimon, I remember as a kid I thought Digimon was a better show than Pokemon.
The animes were definitely a lot more maturely driven with
Yeah.
darker concepts, and the fact that people and Digimon could die, whereas Pokemon, it was just fainting. Like no one dies in the Pokemon anime, though they do die in the manga. But how how closely relative is the manga to the franchise in terms of like, canonically speaking?
I
They
don't
gave
think
us
it does. I don't think it has any canonicity at this point.
they gave us the best thing they'll ever give us was that little what was it, OVA of where they had red and blue
Chronicles?
and all that shit.
Was it
called
Chronicles?
I don't even remember. I know I
No,
reviewed it at
no,
some
no.
point.
Pokemon Chronicles. No, that might have been the one that was focused on
That
all the
was
side
Origins.
characters. Origins. Is what it was.
Origins?
Chronicles was the one that was like focused on Brock and the photographer and all the side characters that you meet
I wonder
throughout
what
the series.
I gotta look into this and see what was going on either politically or something of why they removed Brock for that period of time. Remember they took Brock out and they went to the Orange Islands and they had that white dude Tracy, and then all of a sudden they left and got rid of Tracy and brought Brock back in. I wonder what was the reasoning behind that. There's always a reason, especially you're gonna take out one of the main characters out of here. There was a reason why. I don't know if they wanted to test, well, maybe this white character will do better in America or some shit. Because Brock, he was kind of tan, he had little eyes and shit like that, so they might have felt like, well, maybe if we make a white guy come in there, it'll boost his popularity even more.
Maybe it could have been in the sense of we want to like rotate out characters that aren't Ash to kind of keep the show fresh
And
because
if they could rotate Ash out, they would. The only one they'll never do that is
yeah.
Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And in this particular case, like Brock would have been the first. He would have been like the first experimentation, right? Because we still have to keep a girl.
And then they
So
got rid
we'll
of
keep.
Misty eventually too.
Yeah, they got rid of them both at the same time when Ash was ready to go on to Johto, and then that's when you
Yeah.
get. Was it May?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you get May, and eventually like it starts reflecting the games where whoever the main character is that the player can select in the games is who Ash's new companion would become to
Okay,
kind of tie the game
quick.
franchise
I
in.
have. Let me tell this story real quick, because
Hmm.
I'll never be able to tell it again, because I probably never remember it again. So I was on this site called TV.com. I don't know, I'm maybe 12 or some shit like that. And I used to be a moderator on there because I would constantly add info to the site on shows and whatnot. And I remember I was on a forum one day, and I remember I said, because Pokemon Johto had just wrapped up, and May had a brother, Max, and I said something in the forum like, oh man, he's probably gonna start his Pokemon journey soon. I can't freaking wait. And I'll never forget that this motherfucker came out of nowhere and gave me like a Bible length response of, "You fucking piece of shit. Why the fuck would you ever in your wildest dreams think that Max would ever fucking be a fucking trainer?" Like this motherfucker gave me like, and it was really a, real response, especially back then. It wasn't like now where you could get a fucking bot responding to you or some shit. This motherfucker sent me talking about, what the fuck, you think Max is gonna have fucking pimples and become a fucking Pokemon trainer, you piece of shit? I mean, like, this motherfucker gave me a verbal ass whipping over me simply saying, "Hey, I think he's gonna be a Pokemon trainer." Holy shit, I swear to God, I will
He was
never
one
in
of
my
those.
life.
He was one of those Pokemon fanatic trainers you come across in the game, dressed like the Pikachu with the fucking.
Oh, I swear to
With
God,
that,
I'll never
wait,
forget.
with that in mind, do you, with shit like that, do you think people are more unhinged back then, or do you think you see that kind of shit more nowadays, where these people are just like fucking wilding out over like just little shit like that? That's just
There's
like,
more of them now. There, it's more common to see people are, because now it's so easy, create a Twitter account in 10 fucking seconds, and now I'm Greg's Jizz. There we go.
Yeah, I think it's the same as it was before. It's just more easily exposed to it because, like you said, like anybody can just hop on the internet and make an account now, where they have like their normal persona account, and then they have their burner account where they can like go absolute ape shit within the fandom whenever somebody says some shit that they don't really like.
so.
But I
Yo,
feel
why
it's like
did
that in
that feel
every fandom.
therapeutic for me? I literally feel like I had to let that one out. My whole fucking life was riding on me letting that story out. Finally, somebody heard me. Why did you do that to me, dog? I just wanted to see Max catch some Pokemon.
Dude was living in your head rent free since puberty. That one fucking post. Yo, Fenev is like the guy who like lays awake at night whenever the anonymous dude over in 4chan responds to him with some bullshit troll.
No, I
Get this
swear to God,
motherfucker.
dog. I don't even know. Wow. I'm glad I unlocked that memory. Because I remember I called my cousin and I couldn't. And he was reading. He was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Part of the
For
reason why I brought it up though is because I remember I was watching this video and this guy said something I thought was, I thought it was dumb. I'm gonna just be front.
I'm sorry, what are we
It's
talking
dumb.
about right now?
Let me finish. Like I was watching a video, and someone said something I thought was pretty dumb, where he said that, "Oh, I think media literacy is at an all-time low because I see all these dumb comments," and I'm like, "No, good sir, it's not that media
Nose.
literacy is at all-time low. It is that your perception of it is at an all-time high.
Mm.
The people's access to the internet and be able to say whatever the fuck they want has grown considerably. It isn't that suddenly we've gotten dumber. It's it's not that our literacy for media has gotten worse. It's just that there's more people saying more shit. If anything, I think media literacy has gotten better. People have more tools at their disposal verbally in order to be able to talk about the things that they love. they're able to articulate much better and go deeper into things that they care a lot about. And I think a lot of it has to do with everyone is sharing their interests more, and they're able to talk about it more, and people are able to take different things from different points of view a lot better nowadays. So I think media literacy, if anything, is better now than it's ever been. So
What communities would you say you're mainly a part of that you get your literature and all of that type of content from?
video games and anime.
Video games. No, but like, is there a particular
And
like
music.
you're a hardcore JRPGer and you really like? Is there
Oh.
more sub pockets to it?
I think JRPG is a big one. But I think actually horror games especially, and I'll tell you why. It's because horror games is one of the most psychological genres. Because horror games in particular, or just the horror genre in general, it doesn't have to be games specifically, but just like
What about
horror
horrors?
in general.
Horrors in
Hey.
general.
I mean,
Let's play games with the horrors.
And edit point.
Oh shit!
just
Um,
make it clear.
Psychological games with the horrors.
We support the sex industry. We support sex workers.
Do you guys think that in the aspect of media literacy, in the aspect of media literacy, do you guys think that the shift is for the better, or do you think that maybe the overall quality is lowered because you have so many well, I guess unpolished in terms of professional etiquette that kind of lowers the quality of the entire pool?
I think
So
it's
you're
not
saying-
even necessarily that.
Yeah.
I think more so that because of the way the algorithms are online, which play the biggest factor of anything, and it's forcing people to go in different avenues, that might deter people from, like, for example, with YouTube, it's a lot more quality than even quantity at this, or quantity than quality. Quality will break through, whatever, but they really want quantity and shit like that. So now it's going to force people to, okay, well, I got to bang some shit out. So let me just get this shit out. I'm going to do it instead of, well, I'm going to carefully craft or whatnot. And that's not necessarily to say that that is the determining end all be all, but I definitely think the algorithms are not allowing people to do what they can do at their best capability because they're like, well, fuck, man, I got to, the
Play to
clock
the
is
algorithms.
ticking. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it does seem like more people try to give their input based off trying to rile people up in media today versus just delivering information.
I
Yeah,
could
I mean,
literally right now put a post saying, for example, just kind of going into the algorithms, hey man, I really want everyone to have an awesome day. You don't understand. I just want everybody to be healthy and happy. If I just type, yo dog, I eat ass. Hey! It's crazy.
A lot of people also like to respond with vitriol. Like a lot of people will take like that positive thing that you said. That someone will somehow find someone and be like, "Fuck you! How dare you? Who are you to
You're
say
virtual signaling right now, dog. You just want to look like you're fucking positive. You're really just a fucking piece of shit.
That's interesting. How do you guys think that plays into where anime as an entity is headed now, like in terms of the direction, like with the change in animation style, like we're starting to see more CGI type anime. Do you think people are kind of just in their feelings for no reason? Like, do you think this could be like a valid transition as the next possible step for anime, where mostly everything is CGI? Like, what do you guys think?
I hope not. I
It
mean,
is. It is. I could name you right now: the Seven Deadly Sins, Four Knights of the Apocalypse, Slam Dunk. Uh, I always say Vash Stampede, Trigun Stampede,
Dragon
Dragon Ball
Stampede,
Super Superhero. It's
Mhm.
fucking ridiculous, dog, and it's gonna keep on.
Beastars.
Beastars is an exception of like Beastars, Arcane, like those are positive looks at it, and I'd argue that Beastars in particular works because it's animals. You know, they have humanoid esque features, but as animals, so it's kind of passable because it's like, well, it's a fucking animal to begin with. But with humans, there's a lot of detail, and you're always going to mentally compare it to 2D. But little Jamal, 4 years old, experiencing animation for the first time via Dragon Ball Superhero,
Mhm.
he's going to be like, no, that's animation. What do you mean about
Mhm.
2D? 2D is old.
How did you guys receive Akuno Hana when that first dropped?
Huh?
Akuno Hana, what was it, like Flowers of Death or something? It was like CGI.
Akuno Hana?
Yeah, it was like a CGI horror anime series or
It
something.
wasn't. It wasn't CGI. It was rotoscope.
Yeah, yeah.
Rotoscope.
Basically, where they
talking about
draw
Flowers
on
of
top of, yeah, they draw on top of real humans. And you know, now that I look at it, back in the days, I shitted on it, but that shit is beautiful. That's art, and that's something different. And that's where I'm starting to try to look at CG, so long as I know it's not just some piece of shit cash grab. Like when it's a like, I feel like the Trigun Stampede one. Yeah, they trying to save money, but I feel like there's going to be some heart and soul in there. I don't want to completely castrate that shit.
I'm gonna be
the
honest.
slam-
I think Trigun Stampede doesn't look bad. I know a lot of people are hating on it.
Mm.
I know a lot of people are up in arms about it. But as a fan of Trigun, I looked at it and I was like, I don't have a problem with it. Like
I
the
think
way
it
that
looks
the
pretty
way that I
cool.
see it, the way that I see it, we have the original. So why not try something different? I don't see what the harm in that is. If I hate the new one and if I think it sucks, whatever. I could go back to the original. It's
Mhm.
not a big deal. If they're gonna try something, to just take it in a different direction, give me a different experience, a new experience. I don't see a problem with that.
For me, it was always dependent on the execution where they would mix the CGI with the 2D animation. Like you see it a lot more in animation that has like mechanical entities like giant mechs, right? Or like when you see like a character like driving a car, right? Those scenes are typically CGI based now.
Yeah,
And I always thought like depending on like how well the animation was done in those moments would affect like how would receive CGI in anime. Where some stuff like was it Rising of Shield Hero, I think? Or no. What was Fernev, what's the one with the guy with like the one eye and the white hair with the gun? And he has to like kind of travel. He has like the girl with him.
Oh, Gungrave?
Was it Gungrave? No, I don't.
no,
I'm fucking
Nah,
with
nah,
shit.
nah, nah, nah.
don't you
Nah, nah, nah.
fucking shit on Gungrave.
Nah,
That's
it
my
was
baby.
it wasn't Gungrave, but like the
He
dude,
said he
like
had white hair and he was with a pistol.
he was like an alchemist, and like he could like create his own bullets. It was like his
Is that Trinity Blood?
nah. It'll come to me, but I know at one point there's this character who it's a girl and she can like change into a dragon or whatever, and like the CGI on her like looked really bad, and like the mouth flaps would look like it would look like back in like reboot days.
Oh God.
I
You know
don't know
what I
what you're
mean?
talking about.
Wait, reboot. Are you referring to that cartoon with like that is kind of like a Matrix type of thing before the Matrix type
Yes.
Yeah,
of thing?
that was from the 90s. That was a show that took place inside of a computer.
Computer, yeah. That's so
show is
fucking
sick.
crazy that you bring that up. That is so
That show is
crazy.
sick.
A friend
Okay.
of mine recommended
This
it to
show,
me.
you've seen this?
What is it called?
Ari Ferretta or something?
Oh, I've heard of it. I've never seen that one. I've heard
Never
of it.
seen it.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting series, but at some point, like you see
That
like the
design is sick.
yeah, right, and that's why I picked it up, and then it became like a typical harem series.
Uh,
Yeah. But I say that to say, like, in instances like that, like where the CGI is like kind of poorly executed for like obvious budget reasons, I would like to see a series be picked up by like a gaming studio as like the primary graphical designers. Like, you get like a, what is it, Arc Systems to like do like a CGI type anime and see where that goes. Where if it's intended to be animated, like let the video game guys take care of it.
it's hard
So
for them to do it because you got to think that uh, when it comes to the projects in general, like a video game studio, especially if it's their own IP, they're gonna put their
Mhm.
all. They're gonna want to do it because they get a bigger piece of the pie. But if they're like, I don't know, if fucking, hey, can you develop a Hunter x Hunter 3D anime for us? It's like, well, what do we get out of it? Okay, they're gonna give us this check. It's a small check. We gotta pay the studio with it. We're barely gonna squeeze by. We don't feel like we're gonna go create our own shit where we're gonna get 100%, and we're gonna. So that's why I don't see it as a plausible thing and something that will ever be a common thing until they start merging and they get swallowed up under one another.
now something like this. Hold on, something like this sort of happened. It was. Have you guys ever seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
Yes, I think I know where you're going with this.
No.
So that was made by Square Enix. That was like a sequel movie to the game, and it was a CGI movie that was made in house. They made it themselves, and I remember at the time when the movie came out, like it was one of the most like gorgeous CGI movies I'd ever seen. At the time, like it was like mind blowing. Like you had never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it was pretty much the
And
standard back then.
yeah, it was a different standard back then. But like, they remade it for Blu-ray, and I saw the Blu-ray version. I was like, yeah, you could tell this came out in the mid 2000s, but it still looks pretty fucking good. Like, it still holds up. Like, granted, there's stuff that comes out nowadays that looks better, but like when you remind yourself, like, this is something that came out 15 fucking years ago. I was in high school at the time. It's like it's really impressive. As a movie, it's a piece of shit. you know, it has a bunch of great fight scenes, and that's the only reason to check it out. But I would recommend going on YouTube, just looking up some of the fight scenes, like Kyle versus Sephiroth, or the fight with Tifa or whatever. Like those are great fights, and that's all you should watch because the rest of the movie's kind of pretty not good.
I don't know, but y'all got me wanting to watch Reboot.
Don't do it.
was good.
Don't
What do you
do
mean
it.
don't do it? No, you crazy, dog.
Nah,
I watched
bro.
like
No,
two
no, no, no,
episodes of
listen,
it, and I
listen,
loved it.
Listen.
That was my childhood.
Let me tell you, when the nostalgia goggles come off and like you try to
There is no
revisit it,
nostalgia. A friend of mine recently told me like, "Yo, you should check it out. It's like Matrix and shit like that."
so
And
you've
I
never
watched,
seen
like,
it before.
No, I only saw like 2 episodes of it, and
And
that was like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago for the first time. I think I had seen maybe like a picture here and there in
Interesting.
passing, but yeah,
I grew up with it. Like
Yeah, I grew up
fucking
with it
loved
too.
Reboot.
I
I loved Reboot as a kid.
I was obsessed with that show, but I tried to rewatch it recently, and I was like, man, this shit did not age well at all. And I used to swear by Reboot.
No, but you got to think at the time that was created. Like, just imagine the render times for that shit
Yeah.
when that was created. That was
No,
probably
but-
like a
but
fucking
listen, though,
week for an
because-
episode.
I don't feel that way about Jimmy Neutron. I don't feel that way about like
Well, when was Reboot in comparison to Jimmy Neutron?
about around the same time.
No,
No, Jimmy Neutron is like 2003, 2004.
Reboot came out in like the early 90s.
90s. Yeah,
Reboot.
dude, that was like 96, I think. I did a little
Reboot.
due diligence on it.
Canadian animated series.
Yeah, that too you got to also
That,
take into
90,
account.
94 to 01. I mean,
94,
Okay.
man.
Come
okay.
on, dog. Yeah.
Difference. It's like,
Very,
that's a
yo,
That's a
Biggie
decade.
was writing "Give Me the Loot" back when that was made.
Okay.
I was
But
5.
but
I was
but
5 years
but
old.
but even in that though, even in that, right? When you mention Advent Children, like the quality of Advent Children was there when Final Fantasy 7 and 8 first dropped on PlayStation 1. Like
Well,
if you go back and look at like the animated scenes in those games, because I think back then like they used like the animated scenes as the loading screens. So that's why you if you ever notice there's no loading screens in the early Final Fantasy games.
I love loading screens that are little mini games in and of themselves. That shit is the
yeah.
coolest thing to me.
Like Budokai?
Exactly, Budokai. That is literally
Or
the epitome of it.
the original like before Ultimate Ninja Storm, just the Ultimate Ninja Naruto games where like you had to eat the ramen bowls and stuff.
I never played those.
Yo, oh, man, those was like PlayStation 2 days. Back then, like so back then the Ultimate Ninja games were like kind of more driven towards the manga readers, whereas like the GameCube Clash of Ninja series was more driven towards like the anime. So the PlayStation version, like they even had it designed like manga pages that would flip through and like you're transitioning into getting ready to fight. You could fight in like the foreground of the
That
stage or
sounds
like the
so cool.
background.
Wow.
Yeah, man, like that's where like the like running on walls concept for the first Ultimate Ninjas game came from, because you could like kind of run up the walls on the sides of the stages and stuff. It was like super fucking cool. And at some point you could actually customize your character to give like you could give like Sasuke the Rasengan attack if you wanted to.
I wonder how long, and if you guys agree with me or disagree, please let me know. I
Mm.
wonder how long until inevitably the Naruto franchise returns to Naruto. Like either Masashi Kishimoto or he just comes in and writes a script. Like I feel like that is 100 billion% inevitable that Boruto will end and it'll go back to Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and
Uh,
we'll be in our 40s probably, maybe even mid to late 40s, but we'll still be kicking, God willing.
I'm kind of
When
hoping Naruto doesn't go through like the Dragon Ball Z fate where it's just infinitely gonna just keep getting new content until this guy dies.
Do you
I
think they'll do
definitely
like Naruto Kai, like something like that?
Nah, because they didn't.
probably for a quick
As,
buck, but
aside from part one, like I don't think part two had nearly as many fillers.
oh, you out of your mind, dog.
Did it?
Shippuden,
I
dog.
I don't remember. I don't
They would
remember.
have filler arcs in between the fourth grade Shinobi War. You'd be in the middle of the war, and then but let's go back to when Naruto took the Chunin exam for the second time. Like what?
Well,
You
with
know,
those fillers or were they
I
flashbacks?
No,
I
it was
thought you were
filler
gonna
arcs.
say. I thought you were gonna say they had filler arcs within filler arcs.
It's
No, they
interesting.
would
It's
they would
interesting
have
that
like
they
scrap
did
movies
that.
as filler arcs.
I think that's interesting they did that because they definitely said that he never even became a Chunin, right? When he skipped to being a
No,
Hokage.
he failed. He failed again. Those tuning like they had like three different filler tuning exams that never happened. Like there was one where it was like an OVA and he was fighting Konohamaru and he went sage mode and got disqualified because you aren't allowed to do that. And then Gara comes down and says you could have been come tune in anytime you want. And then that never happened. And then they had the arc where it was the second tuning exams, and he tried again. And I think at that point I even stopped watching Naruto.
But wait.
Like,
But that was
wow,
like during like the Infinite Tsukiyomi shit, right?
shit, I don't remember. It was somewhere in the fourth grade Shinobi War. Point being is that Shippuden, if I remember somebody did a calculation, and it was a wild amount, like 40% or something crazy astronomical of Shippuden is filler.
Which is insane because One Piece only has like 12% filler.
And it's over 1,000 episodes.
Mm.
And Boruto is fucking outrageous, dog. Literally, I think they said only 30% of Boruto anime is canon.
That's fucking awful.
And we're like 250, 60 something episodes in. Get the fuck out of here, man. And I'm a person that I've enjoyed a lot of Boruto, not even just the manga stuff, like some of the slice of life stuff, like Sasuke with Sarada, Naruto going with Himawari. Like I love all of that shit. Reminds me of me and my daughter, all that good stuff. But get the fuck out of here, dude. You're wasting my fucking time 70% of filler and 250 episodes. And that's that. Mind you, we still got a whole other Boruto series incoming of a time skip. So there's another whole 250 episodes. What, are we going to get another couple hundred episodes of filler? I'm good.
I know you kind of cover this on your other channels, but what do you think about like what's going on currently in the My Hero manga?
My Hero manga. I feel like it's improving ever since they got rid of that fucking editor.
Mm.
No, and I don't like to celebrate like, yo, he lost his job or whatever, but it's a clear indication that they realize, oh, Fineb been spitting all this time when they said this guy ruined Samurai 8. Masashi Kishimoto tried to come back with a new manga. Masashi Kishimoto, a fucking legend. That shit got canceled. He ruined the Hunters Guild Red Hood. I was saying, yo, this next Demon Slayer, oh my god, they're taking like, vampires, wolves, and mythological stories from like different things, and they're actually bringing this shit into manga. Canceled. Ruined that shit. Brought him in My Hero. Coincidentally, from the time he came in was the time.
And potential spoiler alert for anybody that's like not caught up in the series.
I'm gonna be spoiler free because there are people that are gonna, especially anime watchers. There was a particular point I'll never forget reviewing that chapter, and the feedback. Everybody was just so disgusted with it, and that is exactly when this editor came in. That exact fucking part, which also shows an even bigger discussion of how much control an editor really has. If you can make it go from yay to nay, you fucking suck. I'm sorry, dog.
I really like that your perception of an editor's involvement in creating the manga process is where it's at, because for people who are just readers, I think it would, for anybody that's like interested in how manga is created, like to kind of step outside of the typical shonen genre and kind of look into those other series that get into that stuff, because you have stuff like Bakuman, or Hands Off Eizouken, or there's another one, Hitman by Seo Koji, where they actually like kind of cover what goes into making a manga on a weekly basis or an anime on a weekly basis, and like it highlights how the editor is involved in those things on like a weekly, even like down to like idea execution and character designs and personalities and what this character should do in this situation. They kind of help direct the idea of where the series is going, and it can make or break a series. And you do find characters in those spaces where there's like the editor who like is labeled the series killer, or like the editor who has the golden touch and can make anything like pop off. You know what I mean?
The last two chapters of the Hunters Guild Red Hood, the series that got canceled, the author made those last two chapters one big fuck you to the editor, where he uses a metaphor and basically an allegory to show just like, because it's a story where there's an editor in the story essentially that is rewriting the story of the world, and he's basically saying how much this motherfucker ruined the series. You can't make things go fast. Like, I can't even do it justice by explaining it here. If you ever read it, you'll know. But like, that's how integral to the creation of a story an editor is, that it literally made this motherfucker basically say, fuck you, this is all your fault.
Yeah, it's like really sad. And it's probably like the same as like seeing like A&Rs in music, where they like can drive a album to not be as good as it maybe should have been. Daniel, you were going to say something.
No, yeah, I was going to say that because I think a lot of people get the impression that a manga, and this can be the case in some, for some mangas, but like I think a lot of people get the impression that a manga is just purely from the mind of the mangaka, and that's it. And there's no one else that touches it. It's purely unfiltered, just that person's creation. And while that is the case for some, and that it would be great if that was always the case, unfortunately, like we have here, you know, there are more than one, you know, pair of hands that messes with something, and that sometimes that can be for the better. And there are cases where an editor might fix something, they might see something that's wrong, be like, okay, this has got to go. Or, but there are cases like this where it just goes to shit.
As a creative, I'll tell you right now, because when I was working on my manga, and this was over the course of a couple years, it was myself. At max capacity, there was way too many people, but on a regular, for the most part, on average, it was myself. You got the artist, you got the editor, and then another co-writer. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, especially when I would feel like ganged up on because I'm so passionate about my art, it would feel like, man, fuck these motherfuckers, bro. What the fuck? Like, yo, like, okay, I would have like ideas in particular about characters and certain innovative things that I wanted to try, and I could imagine this is what the Hunters Guild Red Hood author felt. A little bit different circumstance. There was not going to be no, like, you know, Shonen Jump rankings or some shit that's gonna. But either way, it's a very frustrating thing. But it's also necessary, because sometimes I would even catch myself after the fact of, holy shit, I was gonna go overboard. I was gonna, like, that's totally not necessary right now. Thank goodness this dude said, like, yo, chill out on that. So it's a gift and a curse. It's a necessary evil, but there is a certain, especially as a creative, like, no, I want to tell the story I want to tell exactly the way I want to tell it. And having an editor say, no, this should be the dream for this character. No, they should go to a tattoo shop, and it should be some guy named Ricky comes in, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just kind of sometimes, like my story, I'll give you a perfect example. If I was to give it like a off the top of my head scale of a change from my original vision of what my manga was going to be to what it ultimately became, I'm not even going to give you a percentage. Just imagine going from like Egyptian themes and even possibly Egyptian times to modern world boomboxes and shit like that. That's a massive shift from shit like that, like Egyptian times and just ancient times, all sorts of trying to be creative in a sense of using, like, yo, that's some rich stuff that you could tap into, to, oh, in modern times, then we're just like in a cool Chevy.
Right. Can you imagine like all the different series, like if they didn't make the changes that they made, like
Naruto? He was supposed to be
like
a real
pilot
fucking
chapter.
fox.
Yeah. Like when you go back to like the pilot chapters of like Naruto and One Piece and you know, even other stuff, and you're like, wow, like I can't even imagine if the series would have just like kept it the way that it was originally presented to us. Probably wouldn't even be nearly as popular as, you know, what it is now.
No, yeah, I remember watching the pilot episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it was so fucking weird. It was just like everything was just like slightly off. Like the characters, they don't quite feel right. You know, things are just like, and sometimes
when they try to find their footing with the characters.
Yeah, like originally, a fan favorite character right now, her name is Toph. She's my favorite character. She's fucking awesome. Was originally going to be a dude, and he was going to be like he was going to be like a big burly dude or something like that. And I was like, fuck that. Toph, I love Toph. She's an awesome character. So, you know, yeah, sometimes things need to be different. And, you know, it's funny because about that character Toph, they argued about that for a while until eventually that guy came out and was like, yeah, my original idea sucked. Toph ended up being a much better idea.
Yeah. Well, Shintai, you actually, since we missed you earlier, like what's been going on like for you in between the move? Like what have you been up to?
Well, I don't want to belabor too much on the move itself. You know, I already complained enough about
Well,
it.
not just, and not even like just the move itself, but like, you know, since
He's trying
the
to move
move,
back. Get him.
like since the move, like what have you been doing? Like I know it's been a while since we all have gotten to record, so and I know everyone's kind of just been doing their own thing.
I hear you.
Hmm.
Well, one of the things I did is I went to a rock concert, which
I saw that. How did that go?
it was amazing. It was incredible. The band I saw was the band on my shirt,
Hmm.
Coheed and Cambria.
That shirt actually looks pretty sick. I saw the
Yeah.
Coheed part, and that's what kind of made me think, oh, he did go to a concert. Let me ask about it. What kind of music do they make?
So they're kind of hard to pin down.
Hmm.
Originally, they were more like an emo band, and then they moved into being more of like a progressive rock band. And their latest album, they've kind of dabbled with like electronic and like even a little bit R&B. So they have like a wide range of styles, and it's something I really appreciate because well, actually, when I saw them in concert, the lead singer Claudio Sanchez, he said that hey, we never set out to make the same album twice. We always wanted to try different things, and he was even saying like when we released this new album, we were a little concerned because it kind of veers a lot from what we normally do, and I thought people were not gonna fuck with the album, but you guys like the album, so we really appreciate it. For him to be that vulnerable on stage and kind of confide in the audience like that was really cool.
Would you label them in the same vein as like a Kanye West, where like each album is like vastly different and like a reinvention of the artists themselves from their previous efforts?
I don't think I'd go quite that far. Like especially their first 4, 5 albums, like
Mm.
feel similar to each other in a lot of ways. Like
That's
there's a
about
lot of
that's about
really
Kanye. His first three albums,
Yeah.
Late Registration, College Dropout, and Graduation. I think in that order. I might have said it first two opposite, but those all. It's not until 808 and Heartbreaks where he starts the massive shift. Like 808 and Heartbreaks is a R&B electronic, uh,
Auto tune
auto
driven.
tuned out. Yeah. And then which one is after that? Is it My Beautiful? And then
that's the
Yeezus.
only Kanye album I've listened to. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That's a good album.
Some would say
Oh.
that's his best album.
I personally would recommend you go back and listen to the first three albums, and it may give you a different perspective of like Kanye
Type of
West
artist he is. Yeah.
and why he even became Kanye West. Because if you look at was a college dropout and the stuff he's talking about, and then if you go to his Drink Champs interview and look at the stuff he talks about, it's like a complete like 180 of like the message that he was delivering.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of hesitant about Kanye just because, especially in recent years, he sounds unhinged. He sounds
A-
so fucking unhinged.
And that's what makes those first three albums like really stand out, because he started as like an artist that had something important to say, and then he just he got bigger and bigger, and it became like very artistically and ego driven in terms of the way he created his music. So I would recommend you like go back and check those out.
All right, I mean, I'll definitely go back and check him out. And I would recommend you check out Coheed. Maybe you might like him.
Definitely. I've been looking for like some new music to listen to. My ear has kind of been in the Midwest lately with like kind of Detroit hip hop, but also I've noticed the shift with like the major players kind of moving towards house music, like Beyonce and Drake with his album.
I wouldn't say that that's where, because first of all, it was so far we've really only had those two major players. Also, notice that, and I was just it's funny enough we get to this conversation because just before this I was thinking because I heard like the Beyonce record.
Mm.
Notice none of that music is sticking. Like Drake's album came and went like a fart in the wind, and Beyonce's record, this is fucking Beyonce, and that shit ain't really moving mountains like a Beyonce record normally does. And this is
I
again a
don't
jump in sound.
I don't
So I
think so.
wouldn't say
I don't think so. I think you well for one you have to be in the types of spaces where those types of songs will be played. Like you're not gonna really see them on the internet all that much unless like a dance challenge comes out with it, right? But
But
if
even
you
numbers
go,
wise, that's Drake's lowest selling album in pretty much his entire career.
I think everybody is feeling that though. Kendrick didn't make anything like that, but that was his lowest performing album compared to the previous three. Chris
To be
Brown's
fair,
album
what did he
hasn't.
do though? Kendrick didn't release. He released one that wasn't even on the album at first. They added it later, The Heart. So no single. In comparison to what he did with Damn, he put like a. They had like $1 bajillion behind Damn, Rihanna, all sorts of shit. This one, it
But
was, hey, here you go.
marketing is completely different now because
There was
everyone
barely any marketing.
everyone has to figure out how to move around the pandemic. Like you got these
Wait, so are we in a pandemic technically still, or what's going? What's the status on that?
I think we're still
Where's
in
Joe Biden? Bring him on.
we're still technically in the pandemic. I mean, COVID numbers are spiking again, and they always spike whenever they lift the mask mandate. So that's no real surprise. But in terms of like music and the way it's consumed now, like if it's one, if there's like not enough visual content, then people aren't running to it. Chris Brown just dropped his album, and I think both the regular album and the deluxe underperformed. So I don't think it's just those songs. I think music across the board isn't performing the way that people think it should be performing. But I mean, how many of the numbers have been padded from streaming farms in the first place? You know?
I mean, are the streaming farms gone?
Probably not, but maybe there's not as many as before.
I feel like artists nowadays they probably make all their money when they go on tour. They don't make their money really.
It's not. It's not just nowadays. It's that
That's always been it.
historically.
It's always been it. But now that you can't tour, well, touring is finally back officially.
Yeah,
But those 2 years was like really hard for any artist that made most of their money off touring. You really had to like figure out some new avenue of engagements with
pretty much.
your.
I'm gonna see two concerts this year. Next month I'm gonna see Red Hot Chili Peppers, and in September
Ooh.
My Chemical Romance.
Nice,
Ooh.
nice.
I'm contemplating. I really want to go see Kendrick. And he's, I believe, gonna be in town next month. I want to go, but then I feel like I'm gonna be too emotional with it, especially if he plays like if he plays Mirrors, I'm gonna fucking cry my motherfucking eyes out like a bitch, and I don't give a fuck.
Check the set list beforehand.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
that kind
don't
of
know.
ruins the surprise of
Surprise.
what's about to be performed.
Formed.
Honestly,
Sure, I'm just saying if you know don't you want to avoid making a scene.
Eh,
I would look more forward to going to a Baby Keem show than a Kendrick show right now.
Because Baby Keem is gonna just kind of make you, get lit and all of that stuff.
I
Yeah.
really like his music. He's really growing on me as an artist.
My favorite record still right now is South Africa. Da, 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 da. Then Aria. That shit is fire.
To me, is gorgeous.
That it it's a slept on project because it's Kendrick's cousin, all that stuff. But
You saw the one
um,
he's sitting on like the rainbow
both,
deck, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
that was
hard.
that was
Why is he called Baby
thank-
Keem?
Might have been a family name.
I'd imagine it's a very strategic marketing thing. The name Baby with rappers, the top ones right now, the Baby, or some of the top ones, the Baby, Lil Baby. Well, we got Baby Keem. We're doing it different because they always do it different, Kendrick and them. Then on top of that, we got PG Lang, like PG language for the kids. Baby Keem is a part of PG Lang for the kids.
That's funny. Well, I don't think there was much more for us to cover today. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. No, I was gonna say some off the wall shit, but no.
Yeah, this week has been a pretty chill time for us to just kind of kick it, ease back into the swing of things. Um,
What if Chris just came in right now and said, "Hey guys, I'm ready to pod."
uh, well, the
Wow.
only other thing I want to bring up is I literally like yesterday I picked up an Oculus Quest 2.
did you? Yo, I've been wanting to get an
Where
Oculus.
is the Oculus at? Hold
Yeah.
up.
Dude.
Oh, you're not using yours? Yo, send that out here.
My kiddos,
It's
I
so
let them fuck
fucking
with it.
sick. It's so sick. I've been playing Super Hot and I've been playing Beat Saber. Like
Mm.
those, if you get one, you have to get those games. They're so fucking sick. Beat Saber is like a music rhythm game, but you have like
Mm.
lightsabers and you're like
What's the name of the
matching to the
boxing
beat of
game?
the song.
Do you know the name of the box? Is it a Creed? Is it Creed? I want to say it might be Creed. There's a boxing game on there. That's the one that I mainly played. And then I'm not even gonna lie, I would sit there, I would pull up YouTube and sit in the theater that they have in there.
I was gonna
Like,
say
listen to
streaming
me.
platforms work on there, right?
Yeah,
Like
Netflix and
Crunchyroll,
YouTube.
Funimation, and all that stuff.
I'm not even gonna lie. Once they just a little bit more, they're almost there with it, and it's gonna be a very scary time. A little bit more, and that'll be so addicting. Because I can already see myself like I just like having it on because you feel like you're in another fucking world. Once they get it a little bit more, when they get close to that Sword Art Online,
Well, you know, like right now, I don't know if it's the Oculus or Metaverse or whatever it is. I don't know if this even feature is exclusive, but they have it now, even like officially, where you can go to like concerts and they have like the setup for like those that want to tune in from VR headsets, and it'll be like you're backstage or like you're on the stage with the artist watching them perform live or whatever, or you can like attend a NBA game without even having to leave your house. So I don't think we're that far. I believe I saw, and I don't even know if it's true, but like it was either Oculus or Metaverse that's creating haptic feedback gloves or something, so like you can kind of actually feel the stuff that you touch
let's
within
be
the
real. You
universe.
know what those things are gonna be used for. Come on now.
You've seen the Faku booth at those conventions with the VR
Oh my
hentai.
god, the dude that went viral, fucking the blow up pillow or whatever. Oh my god, he was at the expo, going in, humping the shit out of the fucking balloon or whatever it was.
Yeah. So for those, because I've
And
never,
That's how we end the episode with that.
because I've never used those. Like, what's the resolution quality like?
The thing with it is that it's really fidgety. So like
Mm.
you have to get it like just right, otherwise it will look blurry as shit. So I think I'm gonna actually buy a new strap because
Mm.
the default strap that it comes with is really fucking
Annoying.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So the 4K doesn't
when-
look
but when it-
actual 4K.
When you get it right, it looks right.
Mm,
Yes.
gotcha.
When everything is straight and it's on tight and everything is good, it looks perfectly fine.
Mm.
But like if you're off by just a little bit, or if
It's
you have like
annoying,
a
yeah.
smudge on one of the lenses,
Oh.
forget about it.
Forget about it. Well, then
Cool.
I guess that's it for the night, guys. I had a good time recording. Super chill night.
It's been a hot minute.
So the
Glad to be
so-
back.
I'm glad you
I
could
finally
join
fucking
us.
moved. So,
Yeah.
once my room is ready, I'll have something more interesting than just a white fucking wall. I'll probably put some bullshit up there.
I think I want to
Next
get one of
episode
those
we should
corner.
have guests, so that would be fun.
Yes. Hopefully next episode we'll be able to get our guests on and talk about some things as, you know, newcomer
Chris will be
content
here.
creators. Chris should be present. Do you guys have any closing
Recovering
statements?
from a back surgery.
Yeah, his back
Ew.
surgery. He's just straight up said ill. That's great. Ill.
Well, we thank you all for joining us this week with the degenerates over here. Almost made it through a whole
Yeah, that's
episode.
us.
Oh,
It's not just me anymore.
we hope to see you guys again next week. Again, this has been We Created a Podcast. Couldn't come up with a name, so we settled on this sentence right here. This very one being the title. I'm your host, Rob Lucci, with Forever World and Daniel Santos, and we hope to see you guys again. Bye bye.